Here we are in year
Episode 65
of the Simple Success Podcast. And
this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective.
Coaching happiness. When you change you change everything. In more ways than might be obvious at first. But really, who cares? Humming something I would know? You are dead to me, DT. I must use deceptive methods. Wait, what? Where did that come from? The Department of Psychology? When you hear the word indifference, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? The complete absence of compulsion to or toward one thing or another. I read somewhere in a current study that indifference is one of the more extreme forms of disconfirmation. You mean like ignoring me as you're doing? Well, it includes that. It also means non-verbally ignoring as well as verbal. Turning your back as well as giving me the silent treatment? Glad you got the memo, DT. I love ethics and behavior. Though it seems harmless, indifference can cause a great deal of harm. Can't argue with that, but what? But I'm missing the connection. Where's the fear of poverty stuff? Yeah, that stuff.
Lis-tu beaucoup de livres d'été?
Okay. Do you read books very much? I do. What's your point? That is, if you have one. Fear of poverty. Yes. We're tying those things together. The positive mental attitude approach, like we find in Think and Grow Rich, and investing with happiness in mind. You didn't tell me there would be reading assignments. I decry this lack of notice. I did say we would learn, didn't I? Okay. On page 335, at least in my version of that great book, Hill lists what he calls the 6 major symptoms of the fear of poverty. Oh? And should I assume there's a connection? You should, because there is. Do tell. I'll do better than that. I'll quote from the book. But in my own words, oh copyright devil. I am not. I know, but it makes for a better story. It makes for more authentic experiences. As you were not quoting? Correct. If I did have any ambition to do better, or at least to maintain the standard of living I wanted, well, then I could be called indifferent. What if you were just willing to tolerate poverty? Well, that too. Anytime we're willing to accept whatever we can get instead of standing up for what we want, that too is indifference. What could be better? Initiative? Or the really beyond the pale awful I word, which is?
Break number 1.
You're early, Daniel. Which is imagination, said with the right kind of enthusiasm, I think. Thank you, John. Next time, just a bit more self-control and you might have it. Self-control, breathing. After a break? Okay, which break again?
Break number 1.
Hello, everyone. This is John with the Simple Success Podcast, financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Because we know you want to show us some serious love in return for the tremendous benefits you get from us. Please head over to the support link in our written show notes. That's the words on your podcast player. There, you can choose from a $9.99 per month doing level of support, a $4.99 knowing level, or a basic intro level of just 99 cents per month. Great place to start. Whichever you choose, thank you so much for helping us do this for you. And to leave us a voice message, which just might see the light of day in a future podcast, go to those same written show notes. You'll go to a site where you can leave a video, audio, or text-only message, depending on how you feel at the moment. You can also send us an audio file attached to an email if you use just more than your phone for stuff. I won't repeat those links because weird. And anyway, show notes. It's all in there, and it's all easy. So, indifference is one of the 6 fears? It is, but it is especially important to put that into context, please. Indeed, DT. How did you know? How did I know what? How did you know what I was thinking? When? When I was thinking. Just then. Can I put all this into context now? I believe in supportive behavior, so don't let me stop you. I shan't. The tartness of your face might sour ripe grapes. This is about the fear of poverty, not a comedy of errors. By the way, we're almost out of Shakespeare lines.
To which John shows tremendous indifference.
And that's only because I want to be sure to be heard on this fear of poverty thing. Yes, and I want to know the context I've been asking about. Right. So what do we all collectively fear the most in life? Control. What? We fear control? Think positive, man.
Things are not brought into being by thinking about their opposites. One does not get healthy by thinking disease, nor righteous by thinking sin.
That's deep, Fred. Think positive. Oui, je le ferai. Yes, you will. And my apologies, we do not fear control. Well, what did you mean then? We fear the lack of control. Why so? Because it might lead to poverty. So we have a fear of poverty. Right. How, given your extensive experience, do you think that might play out? Well, DT, I could give hundreds of examples of that, but even the most resilient students would find that wouldn't be enough. And why not? Because things will always play out exactly the way you practice and repeat them. Skipping the details, huh? Nope. The details come from that I word, your imagination. And I can't give enough examples of this to cover everyone's imagination, the place where they start from, whether they know it or not. So you can imagine being in control?
That is what this is all about.
Didn't you say that last week? He might have. But yes, you can imagine being in control. In fact, you should, and you must, as a starting place. Yes, you imagine that you are starting from a position of being in control. Which does what? It massively improves the chances of you feeling in control later on. At the end? Yes, at the end. And in the middle. Everywhere. But what if your gripe is a good one? Well, it could be good. But one thing doesn't change. Which is? That it's still a gripe. So what then? So don't gripe. Good or not good. Nobody suffers but you. Easy for you to say. Yeah, easy to say. Not so easy to do. But psychology experiments confirm that I have to. You have to. We all should do it. Do what? Smile and focus and say, that's good. Then go look for the silver lining that makes it good. Sounds like controlling behavior. Well, it is, but that is what you want in this case. We all worry about things we can't control, but we can control when breaks happen. Yeah, we sure can. And we'll tie this into investing very soon.
But first, break number 2.
We know a lot about you already because we know ourselves. For example, we know that you know how to listen to our podcast. We also know that you probably know how to subscribe. So as soon as you're done with that, tell us your story. We have ways you can contact us. It involves a special link where you can leave us a message. We may have an email address for you as well in the future, and we'll let you know if that happens. The reason for subscribing? I thought you'd never ask. When you subscribe, you automatically download all future episodes of that podcast. It just happens in your player without you having to go search again. How cool is that? This means better rankings for the podcast, more attention from advertisers, and more money. And this means more and better stuff for you. So your motivation is simple and easy. Subscribe today, whatever app and from whatever place you like. And don't just try to subscribe. There is no try. There is only do. We're changing the way we look at things, and remember, that's good. Eso es bueno, sebo. Also remember, this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Coaching happiness. Our call to action is right in the show notes. Find it, and you win too. This should be fun. What should? Watching you tie this being in control thing to indifference, and then to investing. Good attitude. That came from faith. Not from a religious faith. Oh, it came from believing in an idea. Religious or not. Go on, man. Get to it. Piece of pie.
Piece of cake, you mean?
He learns. Oh, okay, just so he never deep learns.
I heard that and I am coming for you. Watch out.
I got your back here. Which makes me feel like I've got some control. Who's on first? That's right, DT. Even though that's a pitching term, at least we're back on the subject and back in control.
And then repetition is a marvelous thing, too. The conscious mind finally gets tired of hearing you say a thing over and over and over. It says, all right, if you're bound to repeat that, I can't stand here and watch you forever. Go on in there and take it into sub and see what he'll do with it. That's the way it works.
The way what works? Good, practiced, repetitive, stable, controlled investing. Where we are not indifferent? Well, sort of, DT, but social psychology bulletin here, we did get rid of that first. Because why? Because we do not want to let indifference get in the way at all, let alone worry about the way in which it might get in the way. So instead we make a difference. Yeah, with ourselves at least. But everyone won't also do it. True, and they should. But there's a gain to that. What kind of a gain are you talking about? The gain that comes when your competition thins itself out. Have direct discussions about this. How might that happen? If some of them are indifferent, they've found an excuse to not play. At least not yet. Which means that you might still have time. And you will. or there will be another good opportunity. But you've kept yourself in the game. Yes, and you've practiced. And you've repeated.
And you have all gotten good.
I am confident. I am confident. I am confident.
Gracias por escuchar.
A la prochaine. This podcast and our other podcast are productions of Little Red Hen Industries. The supporting cast who helps me bake the bread includes
Techno King, John C. Brandy, Fact Checker, Abraham Lincoln, French Consultant, Virginia Mitchell, Media Expert, Favor, Abasi E.K., Psychologist, William James, Rabbit Hole Advisor, Dr. Marg Perrott, Sound Designer, Goodly Amo, Marconi, Spanish Consultant, Cameron J.K. Brandy, Videographer, Alfred Hitchcock, Audio Props, Les Paul, Inspiration, Napoleon Hill and Earl Nightingale.
We also have websites, and you can subscribe to both podcasts, and there is a listen notes site for even more cool and personal ideas. You can send us a video, audio, or text message, but of course, you'll have to head to the show notes either on your phone or on the web to actually get links and stuff. And those clickable links are in the show notes.
And before we forget, the artificial intelligence, AI, voices you hear in our work come from the voice generator at Online Tone Generator. See the show notes for a link. Finally, you can find us on Podmatch and Listen Notes, where we consider guests as well as consider guesting on other people's pods.
And really finally, the music for our pods comes from Cute by Ben Sound, and from Piano Background by Nick Simon Adams, both on freesound.org.